So one of our biggest thing is like community, right? And I feel like that's such a strong thing. How do you handle community? Because you have such a like system that people are coming in and out. Do you find that aspect is missing, or do you find it still is prevalent?
Both. So I find it to be missing and also very present at the same time, which probably doesn't make any sense. But
It kind of does though, because
yeah,
I can see how it still does. I just wanted
yeah.
to hear it from you. So
Yeah, so our model by its very nature does not lend itself to natural community because we're not starting 20 or 30 people at the same time, ending at the same time, bring them all in for a huddle and give them the rah rah rah. It's
right,
very much like, all right, you six go. All right, these guys are done. You six go, and it's very automated. The screens, but so there's kind of two components to it, right? So you just made me smile a second ago when you said you watched some of your customers become coaches, right, and start
yeah,
working with and we very much lean on that as well. So if you were to come in tomorrow to Sweat 440 and it was your first class, I would be like, hey Manning, welcome. This is Joe. He's a regular. Joe, this is Manning. It's his first class. Stick with him, right? Because it's naturally there's two people on each exercise no matter what. So
yeah.
anytime a first timer comes in, we try to partner up with one of our OGs that's
We
always
do
there.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of
Sometimes
natural.
they hate us for it. Sometimes. And
Sometimes,
then sometimes it's
yeah,
the
you
best
got to
thing.
read the room too.
Yeah,
You got to know
exactly.
who's who, and some people like to be left alone, and they'll
Yeah.
give you the no, don't bother me look, and then there's the other people that it empowers them, right?
Yeah.
And a funny story. I remember this girl, Teresa. She's kind of this older. She was a little bit of a heavy set lady that started with us in the very first location at Sweat. She had a bad knee that she was kind of rehabbing and stuff like that. And over the years, we watched her just drop weight, getting strong. But at this point, she had probably come for about 3 or 4 months. She'd probably done 30, 40 classes. Was just really starting to get in shape. And there's this young, cocky, really in shape kid comes in. I think his name was Kyle. I'll never forget this. And you could just tell he was he was just a cocky young kid.
Yeah.
But it was his first class, so he didn't know how the whole system worked. So I said, "Hey T, this is Kyle. It's his first class. I need you to look after him for me, right?" And I was working the gym by myself that morning. Didn't have another coach on staff, so I was really my attention needed to be kind of everywhere. And she got like 2 inches taller,
Oh, I love
and
it.
I watched that whole class, and she was pointing to him and helping him and correcting him. And at the end, they high fived, and I just remember that was one of the most rewarding moments for me in that. Going back to your original question, so community can come a little bit through that. It's also very heavily dependent, and it does vary studio to studio. But our coaches and our managers and stuff like that really have to do a good job of creating that community, getting to know people. So because of the flexibility of our model, I also leverage the technology. Everyone's names show up on the screens so that we can use your name regularly and really make you feel, it's like the Cheers effect, right? Where everyone
Right.
knows your name. And so hopefully you get a better feeling of community from our team,
Mm.
which is not necessarily the same as having community with all the other people you're taking class with. And then we try to do some events and stuff like that. So I also feel like we have a lot of opportunity in that area. And it's something that, now that we're getting to scale, I'm starting to hire a bigger team at corporate. And I think we're trying to leverage some of those people now to focus solely on community. We've been looking at ways to do there's charity and there's prosperity, right? So we've been
Mhm.
recommending don't do charity where you just give money away, but rather do prosperity type events where you allow people to come in, use your space to push their own charity things that they're doing and things like that. So we've got a big initiative that we're working through like that, and we're getting big enough now. We're at 23 studios now. We should be opening about 19 to 20 new studios next year alone. So,
Wow.
theoretically by the end of next year, we'll be close to 50 studios. We've got like 11,000 members or however many we've got now. So let's say we're at 20,000 members by the end of next year, whatever that looks like. We can really start to make an
I
impact.
was about to say that's a community in
That's
itself.
that's
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've talked about doing fun stuff about like CrossFit has the CrossFit Games. We could
Yeah.
have like the Sweat for 40 Games or maybe something better named than that, but something really cool.
We
where
just we just started the Legacy Games just for that exact same reason.
There you go,
It's
yeah.
like, you people want to see the fruits of their labor. Like they
Yeah.
want to, and then people love competition, right? Like
Yeah.
they love it. So
Yeah.
giving them something like that is definitely a smart move.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, and so, but it's big because we do lack the natural community flow just based on our model. It's not
Right.
set up for that, and so we're trying to get creative around better ways to do that because it's better for the members, right? They get more out of it. They get more motivated. They come more regularly. They get better results, which naturally is better for business, right?
Yeah.
Because then they stick with you longer and they bring more friends and So it's that, that constant feeding of the flywheel.
Yeah.
And so community is big.
I feel like it's our number one thing. I really do. Like it's just.
Well, I remember that. So, I only took a couple classes at the original, and I remember showing up that first day, and I think it was a Saturday morning or something like that, and I had the day off, and because my trouble was I was always training, so I didn't have time to go take classes and enjoy it. But I remember the one day I went, and it was hot. Yeah. But I remember that class, and I remember showing up. But the really fun thing that really seared in my memory was that I went because I was invited by other people that were going to class on a regular basis. And I just remembered like very, very clearly that day. And it was a hell of a workout. It really kicked my ass that day. But then at the end of it, I felt that community vibe and that was huge.
And it's really cool to see it like, and this is what I think you'll be able to lean into. What I think is really cool is I've seen it go from one location to now 7 locations of the greater community, kind of like supporting each other, even if it's just social, like, and so I think you can really lean into that of like creating maybe something like where people are supporting each other, even when they're not like necessarily next to each other. So I think we've done a good job of that, of just celebrating our members and like people with like, we have like the classes, like, we give them like the championship belt, when they've hit their like 100th class or 200, people love that stuff, or if somebody like, cause we have the rowers, the skier, things that have like, tangible, like things that you can, what am I trying to say?
Like measurable
things. And, so, like when someone gets a record on the 500 meter row, just shouting them out, stuff like that. I think is cool.
Right. I actually had a fun day. So I have a really good garage gym set up at my house in North Carolina. And, so, because we're up there when we're
what part of North Carolina?
So we have a place in Asheville. So, so we're between Asheville and Miami Beach. We're going to be more in Miami Beach now, but up there we're out in the country a little bit, so we don't have access to group fitness classes really, and or even gyms. So, so I had this day where I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and like set personal records on like the ski erg and the rower and do all this stuff, and then I'm going to try and feed it now out to all the studios of like, beat the coach or
benchmark,
or beat Cody, the CEO or whatever, and put it out there. And I remember hopping on that ski erg and I gave it everything I had, and I looked at my number. I was like, no, I gotta get in better shape before I put that out in public. So yeah.
Have you ever had one of your younger trainers? So I now it's like crazy to me. I'm 47 now, but I have coaches that are like 22.
I know, half our age.
Yeah. But yet they still treat us like we're them. Yeah. Because we're in good shape and we're still look good.
I feel like I'm that young sometimes, but then I realize we're not. Yeah.
But what I've noticed is I'll catch myself like watching them say do 30-second ski erg, and then I'm like, all right, let me try this, and then you're like, oh, like you like don't even want to tell anybody how bad you did.
I might have lost a step somewhere in there. I didn't even realize it. Yeah. No, but it's really fun, and like it's awesome for me to even go and be a part of the product myself, right, as a customer, and really go in and watching. I'm a big fan of the technology side of things because we can leverage that to again to measure, and like the 100 classes we have, it shows up on the screen when it's their 100th class, and then they earn a badge that then is forever attached to their name. So then their name turns a different color, has a badge next to it. So we've done all that really cool stuff, but it's so fun to be a part of the product and watch how it's evolved over the last 6 years and how we've gotten here. But it's really interesting. Like I took a class, I was in Charlotte last week, meeting with some people, and I took the class, and like 2 days later, it's like I couldn't even move my triceps. I was like, we didn't even do triceps. Like I was like, it was like push-ups and just some other like random exercises. Yeah. But it was really fun. It was really because I get very stuck in my own just lifting heavy, and I love running and doing stuff like that. So I kind of get stuck in my own habits, and so going and having basically someone else train me, which is just our system that's doing it. It's really good, but it's humbling. It is fun. Yeah.
I can barely even do pit classes anymore. It's like keep that for the young crowd.
I'm gonna have to come over and do one soon.
It's awesome. Yeah. We did a team workout the other day. Yeah. And so his legend hit me up. He's like, hey, you want to lead the team workout? And I was like, man, we haven't done that in years. Yeah. And I did. I was sore as all get out the next day. I was wow. But they were dying, so it worked.
That's awesome. That's awesome.